Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Come on!
The Hyundai Creta was a runaway success as soon as it was launched in India. So when Hyundai launched its second generation version, it was an uphill task for them to make sure that they didn't do anything wrong. And even though they did not design the car in a conventional manner, it was a rather oddball shape, it again was an even bigger success. So now comes the task of facelifting a car which is extremely popular and loaded with features, is a segment leader and a super task to improve on. But Hyundai being Hyundai, they have always been able to better their products, and the new Hyundai Creta Facelift is a shining exponent of how well they understand the Indian market. So today we are going to talk about all that is important about this car, and trust me there's a lot to talk about. So let's get started. Now generally with facelifts you don't see too many changes with the design, but this one has received a rather comprehensive update, and one look at its face and it almost looks like a totally different car. Now an important thing to know is that while internationally the new Creta receives a different aesthetic update which is more on the lines of the Tucson, for India this car has been totally refreshed and is very different from the international market, and in my personal opinion it looks a lot better than the version that has been presented to the international market. Let's have a look at what makes it so special. Now to start off, unlike the other version, that is the international version, this car has a very flat, very wide look to it, and it looks more butch, more muscular, more traditional, and I think that's a feedback that Hyundai received from a lot of its customers. And while Hyundai is a very popular brand, people lived with the looks of the previous version of the car, but they wanted something which was a little bit more traditional and more suited to their tastes, and this is the kind of car that they wanted really. It is more squat, more muscular, it has a more butch, more hulky appearance to it, and I quite like the way it appears. Now it has these twin inverted LDRLs which are connected with this strip here. It's not one line, but there is a gap in the middle, and the grille also has been completely revamped. It also gets the flat Hyundai logo. But the one thing that I don't like about it is that the gap between the grille elements is just a little too much, and you can actually put your hand inside. And if you come here, I'll show you something which is a little perturbing for me. Electronic equipment like this one can be tampered by someone, so it's open for the prying eyes, and I really wish that there was some protection. Maybe this could have been put here where it was not visible, but if someone wants to tamper with the equipment, they can. So that's a bit of an issue for me. It's all dark, the grille, and you have the blinkers sitting right here. When you turn the blinkers, they have a swipe out movement. This is the low beam, this is the high beam. You don't have front fog lamps, although you have an advanced suite of ADAS functions, and you also have a front parking camera. So this car comes equipped with a 360-degree camera. Overall the look is very block-like. It looks like a solid muscular SUV, and I really love the way it looks. Do let me know what you think of the appearance of this new SUV. Now coming towards the side, not much has changed. The car retains more or less of its proportions and designs. The silhouette is pretty much the same except for the wheels. The 17-inch wheels are new, and I quite like them. They are not the best looking wheels, but they are decent, and they are equipped with 215 section tires. It's JK tire UX Royale. Now whether the UX or the user experience is really good with these tires, I'll let you know when I drive this car. The ground clearance is about 200 mm. It's not been mentioned yet, and I quite like this block pattern under the doors. It gives the SUV a rather muscular look. You have these chrome door handles. This is a top of the line variant, mind you. You have these satin silver roof rail, shark fin antenna, and a really big panoramic sunroof. And just like the previous version, this car also gets this thick C-pillar with this grey embellishment. This car also gets a 360-degree camera, as I mentioned, and the camera sits right here with these trafficators. It also gets all 4 discs, so the braking is pretty strong. Now coming towards the rear, the theme that we saw up front has been replicated, and it gets the inverted L brake lights which are connected. Now there is another thing that I wanted to point out here, and The entire lighting has been covered in this plastic shell. As you can see, it also gets the flat Hyundai logo, and it's all been covered in this plastic, which seems okay. But today, when I was driving here, I saw a bit of moisture trapped inside, so only time will tell how reliable the sealing is. But there is a chance that the moisture may get in. I'm pretty sure this is Hyundai, so this car is well engineered. You have this high mounted stop lamp, and the blinkers, just like the front blinkers, are swipe out, sitting right here. It doesn't have rear fog lamps. And another interesting thing is that the reverse light sits right here. The design, just like the front, is quite chunky, quite blocky, and honestly I quite like it. The boot is as generous as before, and as you can see, it can take in a lot of stuff. And the good thing is that the loading lip is in line with the loading area, so you can just slide stuff in and take it out. Underneath you have a 205 section steel rim as a spare. This also gets illumination, although you don't have a power socket in the boot. Now, while coming to this area, I met a lot of locals and I asked them their opinion of the car, and they quite liked it. I really want to know what you think about this car's design. Do let us know in the comment section. I'll really be looking forward to your thoughts and comments. Now, before we get in, let's have a look at the key as well. It's got 4 buttons: lock, unlock, remote start and boot release. And you don't need to take it out because it comes with a proximity sensor, folding ORVMs of course. And open this door and you realize that this car's interior has been changed by quite a bit. Let's have a look. Now, the first few things that you would notice about this car's interior is that the 2 screens, the 10.25-inch screens, are now integrated and they look as though they are seamless. Though there's a break in the middle, but they look really beautiful, like a car from a segment much higher. And the color scheme inside is also now 3 tones. So you have off-white, you have grey, and you have black. And now let's have a look at the door panel as well. You have off-white, you have grey, and you have black. This material is soft to touch. These are all the controls for the windows as well as the folding mirror, which is electric as well. 1 liter water bottle can be accommodated very easily, and then you have some space to spare. Audio is provided by Bose. You have electrically operated seats for the driver, and the seats by themselves look really beautiful. Just have a look at the seats themselves. They are done in off-white and grey, and they have this really nice orange piping and stitching. And just look at the contours, the bolstering, and this ribbed texture. They are perforated because you also have the ventilated function here. So the seats by themselves look very comfortable, very cushy, and they seem fit to take this car for a very long journey without any trouble. Get inside and the height seems just about right. The steering is familiar. It's a flat bottom steering wheel, and the interior looks properly premium for this segment, although these materials here are not exactly soft to touch. There is no soft to touch material here, and the central part of this dash is piano black. The screen though, although the individual screens are not curved, but the overall layout is a little curved, and it really gives it a very premium, very nice, high quality feel. Now, all the features that you would expect from a premium Hyundai car are right here. So as I mentioned, 2 10.5-inch screens. You have 3 modes to choose from: eco, sports and normal. Then you have traction modes: snow, mud and sand. Apart from that, you get wireless charging, a USB-C and a normal USB, and a 12-volt power socket. You get a dual zone AC, and the controls are pretty intuitive. The quality of these buttons could probably have been a little bit better, but I'm not complaining because they're pretty good. Not very premium, but decent quality. This entire design has been changed, and this platform here is high grip, and if you place something here, it's not going to skate. You can put your cell phone or wallet. You have a generous sized glove box with cooling function. The passenger side seat is not electric though. Also, I miss lumbar support. I really wish there was lumbar support on the driver's seat. It's not there. This is the diesel 6-speed variant, and you have the automatic gear selector here, high quality finish, and electronic parking brake, auto hold, ventilation functions, and you also have this button to enable the beautiful 360-degree camera, and it comes loaded with a lot of functions. And once you operate it, you'd realize that you have the 360-degree as well as the rear view camera, and you can zoom in or out from the top view, and you can change the view for the main view itself. Apart from that, you can also have a look at the car from all the angles depending on how you want to look at it. It's pretty high resolution, although the color saturation is a little less and it looks a little bit monochromatic to me. You have a very nice panoramic sunroof, The pane goes all the way back and you have two panels. It's completely a one-touch operation and you just have to press it once for the entire function to take place, and similarly to roll it back, just a press of a button. Two cup holders, a really generous armrest with a lot of space inside, although this is not sliding or height adjustable. You also get adjustable seat belts, and generally the new 10.25-inch infotainment screen is the same except for the controls for the ADAS functions, which you can find in the vehicle settings, and there you can control whichever functions you want to enable or disable. The steering is also tilt and telescopically adjustable. And another great thing that you'll notice about this interior is these copper highlights, which are a new inclusion and look rather nice. Overall, the interior looks quite nice except for the fact that it's lighter in color now and might get soiled, although since it's not fabric, it should be pretty easy to clean. So with one of the nicest looking front cabins in the segment, which is also feature loaded, I think the new Creta does justice to its predecessor. Time now to go to the back seat and see what all has changed there and what features are available, how comfortable it is. Now before I get in, I need to show you these blinds which are going to protect you in harsh sun, and the layout at the rear is similar to what you have up front. You can store a 1 liter water bottle very easily here. The height of the seat is just about perfect and there is absolutely no dearth of knee, leg and headroom here. Quite comfortable, and the thigh support is also pretty good. The seats are very well padded and well cushioned, well contoured. For two, there is absolutely no problem. You have this armrest with two cup holders, and there is an individual 3-point seat belt also for the safety of the fifth passenger, although you don't get a proper third headrest here. Although the good part is that the recline angle on the seats is good by default, and if you want to recline it further, they can go back by some degree. So that's a good thing. And another great thing is that they are 60-40 split, so it helps you extend the storage space even if you're traveling with 3 passengers. Now you don't have a cabin light here, but you have these reading lights and a handle. Although you don't have a coat hook here, you have AC vents and 2 Type-C sockets along with some storage space and magazine holders behind the front 2 seats. The height of the car is also just about perfect, and even for the shorter ones amongst you and for the elderly and the ladies, it should not be difficult to get inside and sit inside the car. The width is sufficient for 3 to travel short to medium journeys, but for proper long journeys it's not suited. Overall, the Creta remains the comfortable, well-equipped car that it was. If I really have to complain, I would say that a third headrest would have been nice, but apart from that, no complaints because the suspension is quite well tuned, and with 4 on board, there should not be anything to complain about. So guys, while I was driving the diesel yesterday, now I have the real deal with me, the 1.5 liter turbo petrol, the GDI engine. And what better way to start off with a 0 to 100 run. So I have turned the auto start stop off. I am turning the traction control off as well. And let's turn the AC off. Okay, it's already off. And let's give this baby some beans and figure out as to what its 0 to 100 time is. Alright, and we are through. So this was just to demonstrate it to you, and I have done a test on this car earlier as well, and it does its 0 to 100 time in 9 seconds or thereabouts, which is pretty good for a car which is as big and heavy, and especially a mainstream car. So this engine here, the 1.5 liter turbo petrol, produces 160 PS of peak power at 5,500 RPM, and the peak torque here is 253 Newton meters, which is produced between 1500 and 3500 RPM. Now, I've been driving this car all morning and it's impressive in a lot of ways. The first thing is that while it's supposed to be a rather performance-oriented engine, unlike the NA, which is rather docile, it still is very tractable. Despite being a turbo, you can hardly feel the turbo lag here. In fact, as you would see now, if you have a look at the tachometer, it starts pulling, especially if you're in one of the non-sport modes. It starts pulling from as low as 1200 RPM, and would you be surprised to know that it will actually upshift at below 2000 rpm. So there is so much torque available between 1000 2000 rpm that it can operate between that rev range, which means that there is hardly any turbo lag. It's a very linear engine and revs all the way up to 5700 rpm. Peak power, as I mentioned, is produced at 5500 rpm, and it pulls cleanly. Although there is a bit of noise in the engine, it's not the silkiest, the most refined of the engines that I've come across, but it does feel very punchy. There is a bit of gruffness, but above 3000 rpm you can feel the torque flowing in, and you would really enjoy this engine if you are an enthusiast on straight highways and even around bends. It feels like a proper hoot to drive, especially if you're used to driving the Creta in its earlier avatars. It is like an entirely new experience, very torquey, very powerful. I also checked its gear speed, and in the first gear it will do 40 kilometers per hour. In the second gear it will go up to 80 kilometers per hour. In the third gear it will cross 100 and reach 110, and in the fourth gear it will nudge 150 kilometers per hour. So it's a pretty fast machine. And if you're someone who wants a car which can be used every day as well as for the days when you really want to go fast, it is a very versatile car. Now, about the ride quality, steering and handling, the steering here gains more weight as you change modes. So in eco it's the lightest, and in the sport it's the heaviest, but there is a bit of artificialness to the steering. It doesn't feel as natural as some of the Volkswagen or Skodas. However, it allows you to place the car very precisely on the road. That's not a problem at all. And another good thing is that the tires that we have here, the JK Tire UX Royale, have proven to be quite grippy until now. I tried double lane change maneuvers, I tried to go very fast, I braked very hard, and I hardly could hear any squealing or squeaking from the tires. Apart from that, the braking is very strong too. As I mentioned while I was talking about the exterior of the car, that it comes with all 4 discs. So the braking is very strong, and even if you're doing triple digit speeds, to bring it to a halt is very easy. The gearbox here is a 7-speed DCT and one of the best in business. Pretty quick. Even if you're using it in manual mode, it shifts gears very quickly, and if you let it be in D mode, it's a pretty intelligent system and works like a charm. All in all, a very good package, especially knowing that diesels are not favored by the government, and if you're someone who wants a petrol car which goes fast, it presents itself as a properly premium package. The ride quality is also very beautifully set up, feels very comfortable, goes over rough surfaces, broken patches, speed breakers very nicely. If you're traveling with your family, you'll feel very comfortable in the car. Good thing is that to achieve comfort, Hyundai have not compromised the sporty aspect, so it feels reasonably firm. It feels very nice when you're going around corners, properly planted. The grip from the tires, as I mentioned, is very good. The car doesn't feel wobbly. It feels like a firm set of wheels which you can chuck around corners. Although it's not a properly sporty car, but it's very reassuring. So it's a very good combination of practicality and a bit of sportiness. The engine feels really nice and it has an alacrity about it. The fuel efficiency here rated by ARA is 18.4 kmpl, and it would translate into about 8 to 9 kmpl in city, especially if it's a stop-start kind of an environment. And on the highway, while it's capable of returning up to 15-16 kmpl, but for that you would require open highways and be driving with a relatively light right foot. If you're going to be giving it the beans, then that fuel efficiency is going to come down to about 12-13, but that's not bad at all for the kind of performance that it's offering to you. So all in all, it's a very good package, and if you have the money, I really think that this specific engine transmission combo is the pick of the lot. I really like the way this car goes, and if you're someone who likes driving, you're going to really love it. The ambient noise is also cut very nicely. Outside sounds don't come in. There is a wee bit of tire noise, but I don't really think that it's bothersome. I'm saying that only because there are some other cars which have slightly better insulation. This is pretty good as well. All in all, the new turbo along with the DCT really transforms your experience with the Creta. And now, apart from being a very practical and family-oriented car, it also comes across as an enthusiast-friendly sporty car. And those of you who want to drive fast should definitely go out and have a test drive of this car. In terms of safety, Hyundai have strengthened and enhanced the structure of the car. More high-strength steel and advanced high-strength steel have been used along with hot stamping. The body in white has been made more rigid with added reinforcements, and the energy flow route in case of a crash has also been optimized. The car gets 36 safety features as standard and over 70 safety features in the top of the line variant.
Hyundai says they're hopeful to get a very high rating in the BNCAP crash test. Of course, the car also gets level 2 ADAS with 19 safety features, which go a long way in enhancing safety and comfort for the car's occupants. The car's instrument console also doubles up as the camera screen for blind spot monitoring system, ADAS features and turn-by-turn navigation. Hyundai's embedded voice command function responds quickly with as many as 148 commands, out of which 62 can be used in English. The new Creta will be available in 7 distinct colors, out of which this dark green is new. There will also be more two-tone options. The Creta comes with a 3-year unlimited kilometers warranty, extendable to 7 years. It also gets 3 years of Blue Link subscription, 16 OTA updates and 3 years RSA.
You can see the prices of the new car on the screen right now. The Creta has always been a fan favorite among India, and for good reason. It's a very practical, spacious and tech-loaded car, and it takes the game forward with the facelift. I really believe that for someone who's looking for a family car in the segment, the Creta has presented itself as an even stronger proposition with its redesigned butch new looks and added features. ADAS and active cruise control is a significant new addition and adds tons of value. And if you want a reliable, refined, comfortable car which not just serves you well while you own it but gives you good resale while you sell it as well, the new Creta, along with the new powertrain that it has been introduced with, represents great value for money and one of the most logically viable products in the segment. I really hope that I was able to answer all your questions about the new car in this review. Still, if you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I'll be very happy to answer them. And if you like our long format detailed videos, do hit that like button, subscribe to Motoroids, do tell your friends about us. And until next time, this is your friend Amit Changani signing off. Rev hard, rev free and drive safe.